Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and in today's video let's have a look at the setup of the flight management system in the iniBuilds A300. So we are sitting here, we have completed our flight deck preparation, and now the last thing that we're going to do is our FMS entries. So there's a basic sequence of FMS entries to be done. You can see in the preliminary pre-flight we already inserted our route, which is Minneapolis to Indianapolis, with our alternate down in St. Louis, and we have aligned the IRS. Apart from that, we have not done anything in the FMS yet, so that is where we are going to continue to pick up at this point. The general sequence is to fill out the init A page, flight plan page, secondary flight plan page, init B page, and then finally the takeoff performance page. So that is the sequence in which things are going to be done. Now, as always, with any scratchpad message you get down here, take note of what it means and only then clear it away. So nav accuracy upgraded, that one came up as the IRS finished alignment, so obviously that makes sense. GPS primary, same thing, so you can click that away as well. Alright then, let's continue with our FMS entries. Now on this one I am intentionally not showing you any operational flight plan or anything on screen because of all the different formats that we've got available. So whichever flight plan format you use, be sure to know your way around it. I did a separate tutorial on how to read those in a different video. Okay, so let's continue. We have entered the top right stuff. Now we start with the bottom left stuff. So our cost index is going to be 30 today. Our cruising flight level is going to be 350. And our flight ID is our flight number. So that is going to be FedEx Fox Delta X-Ray 3618. And we're going to insert that. Now we can move to the right side where we enter the top of climb temperature and the tropopause altitude. Now that stuff can be found in your operational flight plan as well. So for today we've got minus 58 and the tropopause is going to be in 370. Doesn't like that? Okay, interesting. Normally it should work like that. But, well, in that case, we just go minus 58 slash, and okay. So it doesn't take the entries like that, but that's probably just because I am recording it with a beta version, so that might get updated, so be sure to try that when you are doing your own setup. Okay then, the cruise wind is going to be the average wind, and that is going to be 267 at 38 for us today. Like that. Okay, with that, our init A page is filled out. Now we go down to the flight plan, and we click the left blind select key next to the departure airport like that, and then we can select our SID. So our departure is going to be from runway 12 right today, and we are going to follow the Cimbro 7 departure. Here it is, Cimbro 7, and it is going to take us towards Oscar Delta India as a transition. Okay. So we can enter that by pressing the insert key down here. Now, from here on, from Oscar Delta India, we are going to fly direct to Barbie, which is going to be our BIE. We'll insert that below Oscar Delta India. Then we can already start setting up our arrival. So we click the LSK next to our destination, Indianapolis. Then we're going to go for the star up here, and it is going to be an ILS approach runway 05 right. Arrival is going to be the JAX 2, and we're going to fly it from Barbie. Okay, insert that, and with that our route is now inserted in the FMS. Now let's go ahead and select plan mode together with constraints on the navigation display, so that we can scroll through our route to make sure that it looks logical. Okay, so that's what our route looks like, and that is what the missed approach looks like. Looks good. So let's continue. Next up, we go to the secondary flight plan, and we're going to set this one up for our engine out procedure. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either enter the airport pair up here. So you could go KMSP/KMSP in order to program an immediate return. Okay, there is obviously no route in store, so we'll just go for that. Now we go into secondary flight plan, and now let's just select our departure runway without any additional information. So we'll go for runway 12 right, insert. Now we got KMSP 12 right. Now what we can do now is the following. We'll do KMSP 12 right / now we need the runway heading, so let's go over to the charts for a moment. So we go for the airport charts, airport and airport info. Needs a moment to load. Here we go. And it would be even better if we didn't do that on our destination airport, but on our departure airport, like that. Okay, and in here we can read the runway heading, which is 121. Come on. Here we go. Runway heading 121. So that is what we'll take. So KMSP 12 right /121 /25, as we want to fly 25 miles straight ahead. And that's a place bearing distance waypoint created just there. Now, if we go onto the lateral revision from that and then onto the holding, and we enter the runway course, right-hand turns, and that is our holding at that point inserted. And now when we go onto the arrivals, we can select an ILS approach runway 12 right without any additional information. So we're going to select no star, no transition, insert. And like that, we've now programmed an immediate return in our secondary flight plan. The alternative method of what you could do is just to go and copy the active, and then you could just enter your engine out routing, but without the immediate return. So that's the two options you have. I prefer this one. Okay, so now that we've entered our primary flight plan and our secondary flight plan, we can go to the init page and then press next page button, and in here we can enter our performance information. So performance information we're going to get from the weight and balance menu. So let's start right over here. We're going to start with the block fuel, which is 26,000 pounds. And you can see our APU burnt a little already, so 25.6 is what we currently have on board, and that is what I'm going to enter. So 25.6. Our zero fuel weight then we can take from here is 266.3. So let's do 266.3, and we enter that as zero fuel. Gives me a gross weight of 291.4, and in here we've got 290.7, so that is good enough. Now we need our zero fuel weight center of gravity, which is 29.0. So 29.0, and we're going to enter that down here. Finally, we also have a little bit of fuel information up here that we can fill out. So let's do 1,000 pounds of taxi fuel. And then by going to our Simbrief flight plan, we can grab things like the alternate fuel and the final reserve fuel. So 5.3 is going to be our alternate fuel, and the final reserve 4.9 is actually correct in here already, so we can keep that stuff. The last thing we compare down here is the maximum level 368, optimum level 340, planned cruising level 350. So the cruise level is below the maximum and close to the optimum. Perfect. The next thing then is we go to the takeoff and approach page. Now this is where we are going to enter our takeoff information. So now we got to go to our electronic flight pack, onto the performance tab, and on here by hitting synchronize we can load up the latest weather, and we're going to select our departure runway, which is going to be runway 12 right. I will take a wet surface because looking at this, it looks like there is moisture in the air, so the thing might just about be damp. And then we've got all the lovely stuff up here. Hit calculate, and small thing I just noticed up here, that is work in progress. The weight is correct in pounds, it shows kilos behind it. You can disregard that, the speeds over here are appropriate for our departure. Okay, so anti-ice, let's select that on and hit calculate again. Here we go, 60 degrees flex temperature, speeds 151, 155, 163 at a trim of 0.1 down. Okay, so let's go ahead and insert those speeds. We've got 151, VR is going to be 155, and V2, as the FMS tells you already, has to be selected through the flight control unit. So 163 we're going to put in over here. Like that. Okay, that's 163 in, and you can see the FMS has now taken this information over as well. What we also want to do is to adjust the thrust reduction and acceleration altitude to match our SID profile. So for that, let's go back into the charts. We're going to go to the departure charts now and select our SID. Up here, Cimbro 7. And if we go all the way to the side then, okay, airport elevation C graphic. That is basically what I've been looking for. So we are now looking for the airport elevation. Let's see if we can find that somewhere on this chart. If not, then we can always help ourselves by going to a slightly different chart, which is kind of what I expected. Normally you got the airport elevation on the departure chart, but we can always just go to the airport and then we go up here to the general airport and airport info chart. And on here we should be able to get some field elevation as well. Here you go. So runway 12 right, elevation 842. And since we are going to fly a noise abatement procedure number 1, we'll just put a 1 in front of that. So it's going to be 1000 above the runway. So 1842 for the acceleration altitude, and the thrust reduction we can keep where it is right now, or we can insert that for the climb as well. Now, let's make our lives easy. We'll use it for the climb as well. Engine out, acceleration 1500 above the ground looks good to me. And the last thing we'll do now is we've got the VFTO of 216, and we'll go up here and press that speed knob in. That illuminates the preset button. So now we can preset the 216. And what that does is, once we're in the air, if we just pull that thing out, then this becomes active. So now we have pre-selected our climb speed, V2, of 163, but you can see the 216 for our minimum clean speed is already selected on the, or pre-selected on the flight control unit. Now that is our basic FMS setup completed down here. The only thing I'm going to do in conjunction with this is to set up for the immediate return. So you can see that we have selected the ILS 12 right. So let's quickly go over here and select the approach chart for runway 12 right, so that we are prepared in case we need to come back immediately. Frequency 1103 and course 121. Let's put that in. 110.3 and the course going on to 121. Right, like that. So, talking about setups and preparations, if we go back to our departure chart on the Cimbro 7 departure, let's quickly find our initial climb altitude as well, which should be located somewhere here on the chart. And here we go. For top altitude for jets is going to be 7,000. So let's go ahead and dial the altitude over here to 7,000. Alright, final thing, the runway heading, we're going to set 121. And at this point it might be a good idea just to check that the flight director is indeed on as well. You don't need to worry about the FMA, that is going to be dealt with at a later point in time. Alright, and that is our FMS setup completed. Now, I'm going to leave the left FMS on the takeoff approach page, the right FMS on the flight plan page, or technically speaking, I should say the pilot flying on the takeoff approach page and the pilot monitoring on the flight plan page. And with that, our FMS setup is completed. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do hope you liked it. And if you did, then do let me know in the comments below. Before I forget it, one final point, we're going to select Auto down here on the performance selector, and we are also going to put in the flex temperature. The 60 degrees is in for our takeoff. Alright, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do let me know in the comments below. And if you are up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Finally, if you did like the video, be sure to leave it in YouTube as well by pressing that like button below the video, as it does help with the algorithms. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you really love my videos, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. But until then, I'd like to say thank you very much, and see you all again on the next one.